Thank you for tuning in, and welcome to Night Errant. This is the show where we have some drinks, smoke some cigarettes, and rant about stuff that we want to talk about. Today we're going to continue last week's subject and talk about gameplay and what we expect from the force we put at the table in front of us. And last week we talked a lot about Mordheim. Actually, we were going to talk about gameplay in general, but it turned out that we had plenty for a whole episode just actually touching the surface of Mordheim.
Reminiscing about our Mordheim.
Yeah, exactly.
Warbands.
So today we're going to stay in that ball but with something newer and fresher.
Yeah.
Yet old. So an evergreen of such. Because let's face it, it is basically Necromunda Reborn.
Yeah.
Shadow of Armageddon.
Yeah. I've never played Necromunda.
He is very young. You wouldn't know by looking at his beard.
But
he is very young.
He is the Errant boy toy.
I really love it.
He is very young, and he is very old, and should not make jokes like that about very young people.
No.
It's okay, I'm a teacher. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Other way around. Bad last one. Yeah.
Anyways, I was thinking about this because we talked about fitting your playstyle.
Who made those?
I did.
They're kind of like making love in a canoe.
Oh. Fucking close to juice?
Fucking close to water, but... Hashtag Monty Python. They have this joke.
Yeah.
We think that your American beer is a little like making love in a canoe.
Yeah.
It's fucking close to water. Sorry. Just, well, that's Night Errant for you.
Yeah, well.
I'm the narrator here. I'm supposed to keep us on subject.
Yeah. You can just go get some more vodka if you want to.
It's far away and we like juice.
No, I won't.
Anyways. Shadow War Armageddon.
Yeah. In the Necront there, I found something that really suits my playstyle.
You never lose.
I lost in the Awesome God campaign.
That's
I lost
right.
2 out of 3 games.
Just in the first campaign you played in, you just kept winning, and whenever somebody went out of action, you had one guy out, and he would gain a level.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed the death marks there. In Awesome God, I had very little luck with them. They both
died.
Or one was captured, and I didn't try to rescue him, and the other one died. But I still think the tactical flexibility and the choices they force your opponent to make.
With that in mind, why didn't you bring Deathmark in your first 8th edition battle?
I consider it. However, I really wanted the... basically...
I was just thinking the counter opportunity of Terminators is... Actually, that would have made the game even worse.
Yeah.
No, sorry, you were saying...
I wanted to, in this case, I wanted to do the whole Silver Horde thing.
Yeah.
And
Shadow War.
In Shadow War.
Look, I'm narrating.
Yeah, in Shadow War, I mainly do them with phase shifters, all of them, so that they can simply phase through buildings, and you just have this.
And you can actually afford that. It's not that expensive.
It's not that expensive, and it really doesn't make a difference of one model to equip all 5 of the models with phase shifters, and they just keep coming. And in the first couple of games, my general feeling is that the death marks do as much damage by forcing your opponent into stupid decisions as they do by actually shooting people.
Forcing your opponent to, at every turn, consider where will those goddamn death marks
turn up.
Well, it's only in his first turn, but...
Yeah, but...
Well, maybe second if he went first.
But all the way from deployment, you're stressed as hell about them.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing a really, really hardcore melee crew. I mean,
Yeah.
As a Harlequin player, I would really never be that worried, actually.
Except the fact that, yes, they get -2 because you ran, but you'll never get the other cover.
No, actually I learned that I usually didn't because I was all over the place and having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
But as a Space Marine Scout player,
Yeah.
they screwed me up something brutal because I wanted to have my snipers in the back, I wanted to have my melee guys on the side, and that was totally not possible suddenly.
Yeah. And it changes the way your opponent plays, at least to a certain degree.
Actually, I think elves in general is less scared of them because Dark Eldar is the same. They just bundle together and are like, "Yep, you come, boy."
But in my first game against Eldar, Dark Eldar actually,
But you said it yourself. Your first campaign, you were so lucky and it was so hardcore that you just kicked any ass. And
But anyways, back on subject.
now I just have a picture of Deathmark actually kicking and ass, you know.
So,
and,
but the death mark does force your opponent to take into consideration that death marks will show up
yes,
at the beginning of his opponent's turn 2.
yeah. And also,
And they can show up basically anywhere.
Yeah, and actually, a whole campaign can form after that because suddenly snipers are not that lucrative.
No.
And a lot of kill teams suffer from that.
Yeah.
And suddenly, also, your melee guys have to stay close to your shooty guys, and a lot of things. I mean, you really
And also
mess
you
with
have,
your opponent.
and then you have your immortals.
It's just you're wrong footing your opponent with
exactly.
those.
I'm wrong footing my opponent, and they're the cheapest guys. I don't run warriors.
No, so they're actually expendable too.
They're expendable too, because the other guys are immortals, and immortals really kick ass. In my general opinion, they because in Shadow War Armageddon they are at least on par with even Marines in close combat. Straight up.
Chaos Marines that would be, because they're way past the scouts in close combat.
Yeah, they're way past the scouts. Chaos Marines, because of their
Reanimation pool.
Reanimation
They
pool.
keep standing.
Yeah,
They don't go down and get ordered as easily.
they really don't. And that
I
makes a
actually
huge-
say, from my experience, melee, they can go toe to toe with the Grey Knights like it ain't no thing because they outnumber them.
yeah, they do.
Still wouldn't say because the outnumbering bonus needs to take a hit before you get you win.
Played Grey Knights versus the Necrons.
Yeah.
And my tactic was to try and get some melee going, and if I in any way could isolate some of them.
Yeah.
And the death marks, I was like, this should be easy to isolate, but it wasn't because I was outshot, outgunned, and these guys, they take a flesh wound here and there, but they don't really care.
No, they don't. And the whole flesh wound, the reanimation protocols, I think is maybe it might be OP. It might be OP. I'm not sure.
I don't think it's OP. I just think you forces your opponents to play to the fact that there is a Necron team in the campaign, which is kind of like with the Skavens in Mordheim. You have to tool for it, and I think...
And also in Shadow War Armageddon, the same goes for Harlequins.
Yeah, you have to have a high impact for Harlequins and Tyranids. And we could take that further to Frostgrave and say, oh, there's an elementalist, then I have to be able to handle that.
Actually, with Harlequins, is, you need more, templates for Harlequins.
I found in my one game against Harlequins, which was against you,
with my terrible luck that weekend.
Yeah, that was one thing, but also I found
and I had my head up my ass because I was drunk as a skunk and I've been filming non-stop, and then I played a game now and then.
Yeah, and then there was the thing about when they charge and kill something, that's when they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because they haven't run, they're hardly in cover.
Which I still think is bad rules writing. Because a guy with a flip belt jumping from wall to wall, kicking, throwing shurikens and shooting guys and killing them with his sword. Because he charged, it doesn't mean he suddenly walks like an Egyptian around in your target.
Actually, a lot of misunderstanding. They have solved some of it by errata and blah blah blah, but a lot of it would have been so much easier to solve. You didn't need to write as many lines of explanation if only charging was a running move.
And a lot of other stuff. For instance, everything that is teleport, flip, walking on walls, everything has the same wording in the core rulebook.
Yeah.
And then they errate some of it in different directions.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was so happy with the core rulebook because it was like, we have all these different things, but they do the same.
Yeah.
So I only have to learn that one special rule for all these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a major mistake.
Yeah. I agree. Fluff-wise, I like it that they do very different things because they are very different. But rules-wise,
I'm all about the narrative and the fluff, but
But you
for a
don't-
gameplay
you don't
perspective,
need-
the heavy gameplay kills the two aspects that I really like.
I agree. I agree. I was gonna
need
agree with you. I
special
was
rules.
just getting there.
Yeah, I know.
Basically, you don't need special rules. Just like in whatever game, you don't need a difference in the rules for whether or not I'm casting an ice missile or a fire missile, or they're all magic missiles.
Unless it's a really magic heavy game and the elemental types mean something, because the gameplay is, are you resistant to ice or fire?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the wall doesn't care if you jump over it, go through it, or teleport.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. I will say, however, that the way I would really like to try a different warband as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm considering whether I want another shooty warband or a kill team, or I want something melee heavy.
Actually, I think you want, based on our talks and my experience, you want something that does both pretty well.
And what is that?
It's not scouts.
Orcs?
I tried to. No, orcs are just out. Leave the orcs to me. I can handle that. Then I might actually win now and then.
Okay.
No, I haven't painted my orcs yet because we haven't got to that. But I'm not painting another orc warband.
I get it.
And my orcs are going to be beautiful, and I am so not tactical in my building of them because they're very punk.
What I actually want from the fluff-wise perspective is something like Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, but I was actually getting around to that because they have they have all those templates and the storm boulders, which makes them superior to most of the shooties. But they're still wearing power armor.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, for a warband, we can do that. For an army, hells to the no, unless they get new models. For a warband, sure.
Yeah.
I'd make a Sisters Battle warband if you buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I might actually do that because I actually also like the some of the lore behind them.
I like the newer lore.
Yeah.
I don't like the Boulder Bitch lore.
No.
Which is that?
The part where you can't really tell them apart from the Sisters of Sigma.
Ah, yeah.
The completely based. They're part of the Inquisition, but most of the Inquisition thinks they're witches, and they are really, really angry, and also they like whips and high heels.
Yeah.
And I have never seen a girl, so now that I'm sculpting them, I'll just make an elf-looking man with boobs.
Yeah.
No, that is not that heavy into the lore department.
That was the original Sisters of Battle lore.
Yeah.
But the Adeptus Sororitas actually have some really cool lore.
They do.
Yeah.
And they would fit perfectly into a lot of narratives because they almost always, if they're in the area, they have a reason to be there because they're meddling as fuck.
Yeah.
For me, I went with Chaos first off here in Shadow War Armageddon. First of all, the appeal to me was having the tough Chaos Space Marines and the expendable cultists. Then I very quickly found out there's no such thing as expendable guys in Shadow War Armageddon.
You can't fire them, and boots on the ground are important.
Yeah, boots on the ground are important, so they have really tough guys, really tough guys, especially with Marco Nurgle, and still have the ability to buy some really cheap guys.
Yeah.
So that works for me as well.
I am still not happy that the cultist doesn't get the mark.
Yeah,
because in my mind that is what cultists are.
Yeah.
They are useless, but they have that bonus from their patron god. That means they have that thing going for them, and only that. Where the Chaos Space Marines, they're good at everything. They're just better at that.
Yeah.
The cultists only have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also that mark would mean so much more for cultists than it does for Chaos
Corn
Space.
cultists would suddenly be dangerous.
Mark of Thieves on a cultist.
Suddenly dangerous.
A 5+ invulnerable save
Yeah.
on somebody who doesn't have a save.
Hell, undivided cultists.
Yeah. Yeah, plus
Where the leadership suddenly would make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Between a 6 and a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas between an
Yeah.
9 and 10 or an 8
Yeah.
and a 9.
It's like, it is up there.
Yeah.
Also, the cultist is way more likely to be put out to do something stupid along with another cultist, and then he goes down and he runs away, and he's not close to the leader, and that would actually...
But I must say, still...
Notice how we all just agree that
Still,
Slanish is probably not that good.
Yeah, unfortunately.
No, it's Slanish. It's not supposed. I mean, it's perfection.
Yeah, so of course it's not that good.
I mean, they're so good they don't need rules and buffs and stats.
But...
You just use enough purple ink and they'll manage.
Yeah. No,
See, I have to make his purple ink jokes for him now.
Yeah, I know.
Are you getting drunk?
Not enough.
And that's why there are no purple ink jokes.
But they do still appeal to me. Chaos, they didn't perform as I expected them to perform.
But you won most of your games.
I won most of my games, but they were mostly technical victories. But still, they do perform kind of how I wanted them to perform. Once I learned that the cultists are not to go in the front and get shut down instead of Space Marines. Instead, they are actually supposed to hide behind the Space Marines.
And
let the
it
Space
suddenly
Marines-
works as excellent extra dice when you're shooting.
Exactly.
Because that's what I saw when I was looking at your games. Those extra auto guns basically just meant that the Space Marine had an auto gun strapped to his shoulder while shooting with his bolt gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As such, they actually work quite nicely. Bit slow for my taste.
And also they're a great little bonus in melee.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you fight the Space Marine. And the two cultists, because why not?
Yeah. Just in case the Space Marine loses. Then this,
And that way around, because you wouldn't want the Space Marine to say eek and run away once the first cultist falls.
but if the Space Marine loses but makes his armor saves,
exactly.
he's still standing around, and then the cultist is almost afterwards
My
is
point
just about
exactly.
as good as the Space
But
Marine.
imagine if he could then have his mark of corn on Nurgle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they would be really... and actually, I could boil it a bit more down. Imagine if Chaos Spawns were good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like in Awesome God, if you've seen the video.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe that was the episode where you guys thought you were filming and then filmed where you were talking about you were not filming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we had an entire battle between two Immortals
Yeah.
and a Chaos Spawn.
Yeah.
The Immortals won.
Hugely, because it turns out a Chaos Spawn is just as good as a standard guardsman in close combat. Except it has more wounds, so it takes longer for it to lose completely.
Yeah.
And learning from that, in the custom scenarios that will be played in the second half of Awesome God, I will no longer think, oh, it would be cool if we had this cultist that turned to a Chaos Spawn that could then later become a demon. No. For the big bad in scenarios, since I already heavily disfavored the guy who got the big bad, I'll actually make the big bad bad.
Yeah.
And I have purchased... and I am not a guy who likes Fangcast very much, I might add.
No.
But I have purchased a Nurgle Demon Prince, and I am going to paint it up. So that we can use it for the
Spoilers.
for the final battle. Because my wife wants me to paint up Skullthrax the Bloated.
Yep.
And we can't really have the greatest of the greater Nurgle demons in a skirmish game. That would be unfair.
Come on.
Okay.
I mean, that dude is dangerous, yo.
Yeah, I mean, he would have even more wounds than a Chaos Spawn.
Actually, I just looked at his stats earlier today in Index Chaos
Yeah.
from Portugal. And he's basically an Imperial Knight plus.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. But back to
Speaking of Imperial Knights, did you know that Dan Abnett wrote a book about Imperial Knights?
I don't know.
Oh,
Did I?
shit. Anyways,
Well, no,
let's
no,
talk-
I don't want to.
No, it was Titans actually.
Oh, Tyson, I know. You told me about that like a million times,
Yeah.
and I still have yet to get my hands on an audiobook.
Oh,
And
don't spoil it.
and by the way, might add, audiobooks are more expensive than paper novels, which is insanely silly because all they have to do is give me an MP3 download.
Yeah.
While as with you, they have to print it and ship it. Totally unfair.
Yeah.
And it's only 1 to 3 okay actors, but after that, they just have it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's really unfair.
Yeah. But going,
And they use the same bloody soundtrack for all of it anyway.
Yeah. going back to Shadow War and and the kill teams there,
They
I'd say
also have
after,
bad actors.
Yeah, after the
No,
chaos.
don't get me wrong. I think the actors at Heavy Entertainment are fantastic. I actually regret calling them Medico because they do an insanely good job at putting so many characters to life in an individual way, and I don't want to be the channel that talks bad about some people who really works their ass off to make me be able to listen to really good audiobooks. Even when the books are actually not that good. We talked about it with the Dark Angel novels.
Yeah.
The actors makes the books good.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get that out there.
Can we
Okay.
cut here?
I think Lasfar has a point.
Yeah, just
But you can go take a piss.
I'll go take a piss.
Make drinks, not with your piss.
piss first.
Then make drinks. And yeah, we're good. So you had a point you were trying
yes,
to make.
because for the gameplay one.
Oh, I'm glad he's gone. He was
Yeah.
so close to start talking about books.
Yeah, he actually mentioned Dan Abnett.
Which we all know leads to Bourne's Ghosts.
Yes. Anyways, back to Shadow War Armageddon without Dan Abnett. I've learned to play with the Chaos. I've enjoyed playing with the Chaos. But what I really... There are 2 other kill teams I want to play. And this will be the next one because I do need a Gene Stealer cult force of some kind at some point.
I'll trade
that'll be
you
very soon.
for a lot of war machines you're not going to use anyway.
But they're tiny.
No, because that's not the one I'll trade you for.
Oh. But yes, definitely that one. During the Awesome Guard campaign, I had one scenario against Ronin where I completely I made this brilliant Overwatch trap, and I really enjoyed doing that. And I think Gene Stealer cultists would be the guys that can actually build not just build it off, but build a tactics around it, and not just
I actually think
fall
they
into
have
the
to.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And that is also why I think you would like them in 8th edition, because they have that army-wide special rule where they are pretty much just already hidden in the terrain, and the enemy is like, there's no army to fight. Oh, we're getting shot. Oh, no, now we're getting shot over here.
That's that would be very much to my liking, I think. That, and also I've been toying with the idea of an Inquisitor, or Inquisition,
Ordosinus,
Inquisition team. I can really see them as a actually 3-layered force. Snipers at the back, storm bolters in the middle, melee guys in front.
I played them for a short campaign, and they have one major drawback.
Yeah.
Yes, they can have the ballistic skill, but their total lack of shooting skills makes them terrible snipers in a longer campaign.
Okay.
Which annoyed me a lot, because it was like, oh, so I can build up my snipers, and I have my melee team and stuff.
I was actually considering using recruits for snipers.
And then if they level up wrong or get frenzied, you can just, when they promote, say, no, weapon skill, because you choose when they promote.
Yes.
And actually, I would like to get into to wish listing for Shadow Armageddon, because I think we all have some things we would love to see in a second edition or an
Yeah.
expansion, but that is a subject for another time.
I still want to put out there a rogue trader kill team.
That is a subject. And before we get into Gaunt's Ghosts, because Sleeping Bear is coming back, take care and bye.
Bye.